Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. We are continuing this series of the Thousand Year Reich. Due to extremely poor player by the Western Allied player, me, England has fallen and been collapsed, and Russia is on the ropes in a very nasty 41 Barbarossa. So we will go and get started here. We know the weather is fair because it is turn of July of 41. And there is no declarations of war. That was us cleaning up a couple of things that I forgot to do. So we get out of the war phase, we go into production here, which is meager in the extreme. Germans are at their full. I don't think they gave anything to the Allies. British are at 8. Russians are at 20. So now we go into strategic warfare for the Soviets. Why did I do that? So the Germans are at... Russians are at +3 because he has like 7 or 8 conquered countries. And the Germans are at +2 because they have Basra. And he rolls a 6, +2 is an 8, of course. And I roll a 1, +3, of course. So that means, of course, that you will see the Russian factory count go down. Lost factory goes up 1. Now we go over to the west, where I'm at 0 and he's at 5. He doesn't have an airplane in Norway at this point. I went ahead and played my Ultra at this point. I said, what the heck? See if I can get lucky and chip him. He rolled a 5 + 5 is a 10, so no chance there. And I rolled a 4, so I didn't. Because his 10 is halved to a 5, I couldn't take 1 off on him, but the 4 does give the British back a factory for the moment. And the Ultra will come back in 2 turns. And then we go into strategic movement for the Axis. Takes a strategic move out of France, puts it up on the guy up in northern Norway, and comes down and says, no, none of this running from Bergen to Oslo stuff. And he puts it in between us. And Western didn't have one. Soviets decided that rather than having someone sacrifice himself at Smolensk, that they would pull back and try and mitigate some kind of disaster here running towards Moscow. As you can see, the Russian army is dispersed, and the Germans are just going to have a heyday. We get into Axis operations phase. Not sure where he's starting here. So, first thing he does is he's going to move an airplane up, I think. Oh, Lukey. And he also is going to move his airplane up in the south. Why didn't he put a sortie on the guy in Belaluki? There we go. No idea what that was all about. Put his salt markers out of the marshes, I guess. Then he takes the Italian and just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Capture Smolensk. Then he has a German garrison attack me at Riga. So he's at +1 to my 0. I think we went to combat commitment, which I saw no reason to be wasting my stuff. He had said that he really didn't want to commit, but he had already flipped it, so we agreed that he would have to throw the airplane in. So he's at +3. He rolled a 4. I rolled a 2, so I'm flipped. And then he attacked at just +1 to my -2. Got a 3, and of course I rolled low enough to just have his garrison unit take Riga. And then moves out. And I think he has the Romanians go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why he's... Where are we at? Oh, now his garrison unit goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just 5 across the river. Captures Smolensk, goes on assault. This Italian... Oh, we were trying to make sure he had control markers in all the right places. And Yugoslavian, I think, is the next one that moves. And he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And captures Kharkov. And I have no idea where we're at now. Oh, and then he moved the Luftwaffe that he had used to help take Riga. He moves it up to Bryansk so that he's got air coverage across his front now. Now he's doing air combats against that one. He rolled a 1, I rolled a 6, so that hurt him. And he attacked here in the north. And he was a 4, and I rolled low enough to take 2. So then he attacked not sure which one attacked here. But it was basically a 1-to-1, so we each took a sortie, and then he had this guy go after here. He rolled a 2 and I rolled a 1, so we each took 1. He rolled a 3 minus 1, I rolled a 3 minus 2, so again we each took 1. Then he went again in at -3 to my -3. He rolled a 6, minus 1 is a 5, and a -3, it didn't really matter. I was going to take 2, so I think we missed a sortie on me somewhere that I ended up at 6. There we are. Then he went ahead and just said, let's not worry about that at the moment. And the one in the center just finish off that airplane before he did his attack. Then he attacks across the river with the armor. Combat commitment, I think, now. And we both committed. Threw out a tanks marker. He threw in an airplane, so he's +5 to +2. He rolled an 11. I rolled dismally, so I flipped and retreated. So now he attacks me at +4 to -2. We're back to combat commitment. Neither one of us bothered. He rolled an 8 to my 4, so I was retreated again. Then he rolled an 8 to my -2 is a 3, so I eliminated because that's a DD result. And then he's on that side of there. He has a no enemy zone of control. And he just decided to go ahead and attack me. We went to combat commitment. I threw my tanks again to try and stop this too big of a breakout. He rolled an 8. I rolled a 5, so I was retreated. He took Kursk. So now he's opened up a very nice hole here. And off we go. 3, 4. Five, 6 to attack me. He rolled a 1 + 2 is a 3. I rolled a 2, so I held for a turn. And then he threw his tanks on the next one. And he got a 7 to my 6, so I held him off. And then I think he went 1, 2, 3, and attacked again. Rolled a 7 to my 3, which forced me to retreat, which I couldn't do, so I slipped. Then he attacked the last time, got a 3 + 2, which is a 5. And I rolled a 2, so I was eliminated because I couldn't retreat. He took the hex, no enemy zone control, and advanced. And the Italians, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. To complete the encirclement. And then 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. And I went ahead and threw in my airplane on his attack. Why did I not add 2 to my guy? I'm really confused here. Oh, he had used the airplane in Belaluki to make sure I was at 0, and then he used this airplane in Bryansk to finish me off. So he ended up with a 9. And I was isolated, so I couldn't retreat. That's why when he rolled a 9 and I rolled so low, that I was eliminated. Because a DD result, I have no legal retreat route, so I was eliminated. But he chose just to move there. And the German back here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then he launched an attack from Turkey. Turks attacked at -1 to my 0. I threw in an airplane so that it was actually at +2, so his 2 to my 5 to stop that attack. Then he attacked at Viborg. -1 to my 0. He rolled a 5 -1 is a 4, and I rolled a 3. He attacked again, rolled a 2 -1, I rolled a 6. So. And that 6 was important because it flipped that unit. And now we're down here again. Oh, he moved this armored unit. From there, he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and ends up there. Thought about it and said, no, maybe I don't want to. So he went ahead and advanced there first, and then moved this infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's effectively isolated the 22nd Infantry. So his Panzer comes after me at plus a bunch. Plus 5. He rolls an 11, of course. I rolled a 6, so I was only flipped, so he had to attack me again. Rolled an 8, and at -2 it doesn't really matter. So I'm eliminated. Takes that with 4 movement points left. Goes 2, 4. To isolate another unit. Then he has the infantry unit attack at effectively 2 to my 0. 7. I rolled a 2, so I'm immediately eliminated. So that was 4. Then he goes 5, 6. It was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he attacks into Bulgaria. 3 to his. He had a 4 plus 1, which was a 5, and I rolled a 3, so I was forced to retreat. So he took that city. And now we go on. This infantry unit is there. Called for an assault. Which he rolled a 3 and I rolled a 4, so hold there. Now, I got lost here. What did he do? Oh, he moves this infantry unit. Keeps trying to figure out where he wants to put it. And it finally ends up there. To keep his Italian in supply, this infantry unit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She goes down there and then he takes the Italian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Salvatore, what's he moving now? Oh, this infantry unit moves out and around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this Italian moves up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Couldn't make up his mind. He decided on going that way anyway. Captured another city, drove my airplane off. I don't know why we were highlighting those infantry units. Oh, we were counting how many points he had done. Counting how many German points he had spent. So if you go to the national tracks, he's getting down fairly low. I think he's going to end up with 9 after he moves the armored unit. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that he's basically surrounding Reserve there. Preparing for next turn. And the Yugoslavs make their attack on the Greeks at -1, so they ended up with a 1, and I rolled a 6, so I flipped the Yugoslav. And then that Yugoslav attacked at 0 to -4. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Went back home. And he moves up the 4th Turkish garrison. And okay, this is where we made a mistake. Go back a bit. Right here, he is not allowed to do what he's going to do here, which is put the 7th Army in low supply. We've been playing this wrong. He had to supply those units in England because he could. He would have had to move the convoy away to allow this to happen. And he also, in earlier turns, you'll have seen something in Glasgow go to low supply and no supply. We were incorrect. You cannot voluntarily not supply units that are required for your defense thing. And he only has 1, 2, and 1 in Norway is 3 real infantry, so he actually had to supply this guy, but he did not. So now I think I'm counting the cities he took. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities. So that was like 12 and 6. He took me down like 18 points, which put me at 46. Because I started at 66. Somehow I haven't taken me down 20 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He only took me 7. He took down 7 cities and 6 units. So he took me down 20 points of willpower, which is, a lot. The Russian armies didn't really stand up to him anywhere. So in the Western Allies, we decided to take the Home Guard 3, 4, dropped him into Gibraltar, back out to 16 for 5. Started to go 6, 7, realized I couldn't get where I wanted to go. So I went 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it's 4 into there, 5, 6, 7, 8 to here. Then 9 to here, and 10 to there. And landed. So I could keep that guy in supply. Then I started to do this, which is patently illegal. So we put him back. So we had to put the units back here. Because that's my home garrison, which I can't move. So we put that back. I took off the low supply to supply the BDF in Norway. And I think now we're to Soviets. So let's go over to the Soviet Union. Things are terrible here. Why am I over here? So guy in Rostov went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Stalingrad. Guy in the mountains, I tried to see if there was some way I could, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I couldn't get to like running behind him and grabbing Depnostrik, which would require him to retrograde some units. So instead I just said, okay, I'll go to Stalingrad. This guy goes to Rostov. See, I only have 3 units coming in or from that I'll be able to build with the Russians. So my line is just going to be basically this one big hole. So the guy that was sitting out there in the woods, I just put him behind the river guarding the northern route up to Akastron and Murmansk. I went ahead and attacked the Italian in vain hopes of being able to pull something off. Italians played their tanks, so I'm 0 to +2. He rolled a 6, so he flipped me and stopped my attack. If I'd have gotten lucky and gotten through the first one, I could have attacked him again, maybe got lucky, forced him to retreat, and I could have maybe pinned him in against Tula and had a final attack, to eliminate him and maybe be able to move myself into Tula with that guy in a rel instead of leaving him there surrounded like he is. And I was like, it didn't work. So, and then I did this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at least some of this infantry is going to have to retrograde to take care of that. And I get back 2 will points. And he was trying to figure out where to put his airplane. And he decided to fly it to the south, I think. Nope, he ended up in the center. And I pointed out that he couldn't touch that airplane because I'm behind the magical force barrier. And down here, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the Turkish garrison unit. So now I can retreat to there. He says, well, just attack me from there. And I was like, well, it's -2, +2 for the airplane. So I went ahead and did it. 0 to -2. Rolled a 3. He was nice enough to roll low enough to eliminate it. I had a no enemy zone of control there. That was 4 movement points to do that attack. Then I went ahead and moved up to there. 5, 6. So, kind of sort of a front in Turkey, but those 2 armies are sorely missed in the defense of Russia. Plus the fact that 5 Italians running around in Russia makes him have far much more lethality with his Germans. And I think... So now we're into the no supply phase, and he was restoring its units. And I think I called him on this because I think he took too many points off. Because this is 4, and this is 3, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, and he moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Italians. So he was spending like 15 points there. And I believe he comes back and has to take off this convoy back up to 6. Oops, flew right through the diplomacy phase. Did we ever correct that? We did not. At some point I thought we corrected that. He should not be able to have all those units. I think we're in building the Russians. Put one out here, one there as sort of a backstop. And the last one was put in Kalinin again, just sort of as a pit stop for the Germans. Unfortunately, it's going to mean that he's going to get lots of points against me, and there's nothing I can do about it. I almost thought about just building the guy in Kalinin up in Vologda or Yaroslava and just saying the heck with it, we're not going to stop the Germans anyway. But I felt by doing this, I'm dispersing his attack pattern. He's got to, spread out. He's got to decide what he's going to do. I think he's concentrating on going in the center for Moscow. So, because his armor is turning back that way. So. Okay, so now we should be in the diplomacy phase. There is no diplomacy phase, that's right. Okay, so we get to turn. We're getting just to the turn end where we just get back our stuff that we had used up. Russians picked up another factory in the Urals. The West picked up their tanks marker and free forces marker. Or no, partisans and free forces, that's what I got. And the Germans, of course, got back their 2 tanks, their surface action, and the submarines. And now we are at August. And we know what the weather's going to be next turn, so that's it. That's the end of it. I don't think this is right. I have to double check, but I thought that he had already spent more points than he has there. Anyway, that was July 1941. Next to nothing happening in the West because of the collapse of Britain. And, Russia's sitting in Stalingrad and the Volga in Moscow and Sir in the north. So there's very little hope that the Allies are going to pull anything off. I have, this run at Bryansk is at least maybe some of the Italians will come back to try and keep me from running around. But the Germans should be able to just march forward as they please. There's nothing I can really do to stop them. And I'm not sure what else I could have done. Other than, I could have tried to run away in June, but then he would just be doing this. He would capture all those cities and then be killing me in August anyway. So, anyway, the final, what is it? I'm down to 48 will, and I see probably at least 21 points being lost next turn. So I will be down under 30, I believe, by the end of next turn. Barring any horrible die rolls by my opponent. So, anyway, I'm Gen608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit that like button so these things will stay up for YouTube algorithms will keep them up for people to find when they come looking for unconditional surrender videos. And until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.